Alright, how an average Japanese salaryman created a VTuber empire by RedJoker. Well, this is about Hololive, obviously. We'll look at that. To be fair, looking at how much I mostly just consume like the first EN generation, right, of Hololive, I genuinely don't know much about the dude that actually runs this. I'll be real. So I'm kind of the tourist in this regard.
Yagoo, the best beloved girl CEO, stands at the top of the VTuber mountain today. But with past business failures, working for a negative salary, and a debut stream with only 30
Working for a negative salary is crazy. That's interesting. And only 13 on the debut stream. Wild.
13 viewers, the hell this man had to climb through to get to the top cannot be described with words. Yagoo was born in Osaka 1973 and grew up with a deep love for video games, so much so that he used to work part-time at an arcade. He did a degree in mechanical engineering at the prestigious Keio University and proceeded to join in—
Bro, imagine, right? You have a degree in like a technical field, right? And instead of working in that field, you just randomly decide, actually, I want to employ VTuber with fictional women. What a way.
Imagineer Incorporated, a game development company. For the first 4 years, Yagoo did exactly what he dreamt of, being a game producer, where he worked in collaboration with Sanrio to create console video games. Yet he was the director of Sanrio TimeNet on the Game Boy, like a Hello Kitty, My Melody, Keroppi game. He then—
What the heck? I think we got something to stream. Hello Kitty game.
Then transitioned to oversee Imagineer's mobile internet projects as the business lead, running official mobile sites in partnership with television networks and publishers. This was what showed Yagoo the fun of chasing the latest technology, a mindset that would greatly influence his choices soon. After another year and a half, Yagoo joined iStyle Incorporated, running a popular cosmetics review site at Cosme. He became the head of iStyle's internet business division and helped launch their online site, Cosme.com, moving the company into the e-commerce.
Okay, so we went from like video games and like a degree in like a technical field to like a website for cosmetics. Interesting. Negative salary, so relatable. Bro got the what was it? The beauty tax right there.
World. At this point in 2005, Yagoo had experience in the gaming industry, e-commerce, and just the tech industry in general. Feeling ready for a change, he co-founded his first startup with primary co-founder Yoshinori Hayakawa, a mobile advertising company, Interspire, specializing in mobile carriers. You know, like SIM cards and stuff, but like the advertising part. Yagoo acted as the business manager in charge of the media division. It's unknown what exactly happened in this company, and all of Yagoo's statements on it are very vague. But after about 3 years, he was no longer a part of Enterprise. Whether he resigned, sold his stake in the company, or had any internal problems are completely a mystery, as there are no public records. Enterprise continued without him and eventually merged with other companies to grow, now called United, but that's none of our business. After leaving Enterprise and gaining a fundamental understanding of how a business is run, Yagoo decided that it was time to try his own hand at entrepreneurship. In 2008, he founded the local discovery app, 30min. It's essentially an app that lets users find nearby lunch spots. Now, while this doesn't—
Okay. So, video games, e-commerce, advertisement, probably just a lot of programming too. Now we got basically finding local restaurants. Interesting. Probably since the name says 30 minutes, they have to be in a 30-minute reach.
Doesn't sound very impressive today. Keep in mind this was 2008, before GPS was a big thing. In fact, his app was the very first Japanese app to use GPS. Like, ever, and Yagoo built it alone. Why lunch spots, you may ask? Well, it's simple. The man just got married and was struggling to make weekend plans in the new neighborhood they just moved into, so he just made an app. What the hell is this guy? Being the first of its kind, his app got major media coverage in Japan and blew up. Only 1 year into working as the president and CEO of this new company, a very fateful meeting occurred. Yagoo attended a startup pitch event hosted by Ikko Fukuda.
That man is... I am very surprised. I didn't know this much. I didn't know anything about the dude, and now I know more than I have ever known. Okay. Where does this go? What else has this man done?
They chatted at the after party and exchanged contacts after realizing they lived in the same neighborhood. This man would later be Yagoo's single partner in co-founding the company Cover Corp. But we'll get to that soon. Over the next few years, Yagoo mostly focused on this project, and on the outside, it was doing pretty good, getting millions of downloads. On the inside though, by 2014, Yagoo had a pretty bad relationship with the co-founder, and unable to make decisions together, the growth of the company stayed stable but stagnated. Yagoo wanted out. He wanted to do greater things. He wanted to start over from scratch. So he looked to sell 30 min, which was a hell of its own because he couldn't find anyone to sell it to for a while. But failed negotiation after failed negotiation later, he met a shareholder of media company IID, Kariazono. The man simply said, "Why don't I just buy 30 min? Boom, problem solved." Starting anew, Yagoo was going to open a new business.
I mean, makes sense that it would be hard to sell this company because, right? Who would buy a stagnant business, right? Who would buy a business that doesn't show any growth? Interesting. A lot of people don't know his past before the Cover Corp. Probably.
The first idea he had was an online to offline business, some sort of app or media geared towards inbound tourists, but he just couldn't seem to think of anything practical that would actually attract customers. So Yagoo attended the Incubate camp, a camp where people present their startup ideas, and one that he describes as disastrous. I'm assuming his own performance. But there, looking at everyone's incredible presentations, he learned one very important thing. All the top people utilized the founder's previous industry knowledge. Even after going through advertising, e-commerce, lunch apps, he was still a gamer at heart. And with his degree and past experience, why not focus on something game-related? Yagoo immediately hopped on the bullet train to Kyoto to attend Bit Summit, an indie game event. And through a series of networking and connections, he was eventually introduced to Takashi, a representative of Oka Ichimon, a VR company currently working on metaverse stuff.
Okay. Please.
Oh no, not this clip. I've just recently seen this clip. Not the Phillian tier 3 sub clip. No. No. I know what this is. I hate this clip.
Could you please take them off?
Takahashi
I just recently seen this one. It's hilarious.
Showed Yagoo around their workplace, what they were doing, and Yagoo was inspired. He was interested in the VR industry and hoped Japan could have some sort of funding for VR startups. Takahashi, however, actually advised Yagoo that starting a VR business was a terrible idea, and it did discourage him a bit, but we know how this story ends. Wasting no time, Yagoo then called up an old friend, Kunimitsu of Gumi, a game company, submitting a funding proposal. He wanted VR to grow in Japan and hoped a friend with a company as successful as Gumi could help the gaming industry move in this direction. Kunimitsu...
I've never played any of these games, but the name Gumi sounds familiar. I just don't... wait. I'm thinking. Nah, I don't remember. But the name is familiar.
Swiftly dismissed it, saying there was no way VR would actually properly come to be a widespread thing. Rip in Yagoo. However, this attitude quickly changed after Kunimitsu attended Tokyo Game Show, seeing many VR content being developed. After Yagoo told him all about VR with these impressive booths, he was sold, and with his company Gumi, agreed to create what we now know as Tokyo VR Startups, a startup funding campaign for VR startup companies. After the success successful launch of the fund, Yagoo was more motivated than ever, ready to start his own VR business. This entire time, he had been keeping in contact with Fukuda from a whole 6 years ago, and they both agreed on the idea that VR is the future. That's
what a dedicated man. I wish I had half of the dedication and energy that this man has, not gonna lie. Just a sprinkle, wow.
Why the two came together to start a new company, Cover Corp. Joining the Tokyo VR startup, they had 6 months to develop a final product to demonstrate, with an interim demo day and a final demo day. The two developed their first project, Ping Pong. And no, seriously, before waifus, we had Pong. It was not very good, to say the least. The physics were a bit clunky and it just looked like a janky tech demo. Showcasing this at the interim completely failed to attract any investors.
Yikes, wow. Ping pong. VR ping pong, chat.
Developing such an early prototype for VR proved to be very difficult, and even something as seemingly easy as Pong took the two men months to develop. In fact, this entire time after selling 30 min, Yagoo was working without a salary. No, a negative salary. He took 10 million yen of his own money he got from selling 30 min to pay Fukuda for his work and keep this project alive. Yagoo describes this time as the time of constant anxiety and stomach aches. He was genuinely starting to lose hope. Seeing Pong a failure, they had to go back to the drawing board. They had a concept of wanting to combine VR and the internet, and after shuffling through many ideas,
imagine you are straight up because you essentially imagine you are constantly living essentially with a negative bank account. Yikes! The opposite of in, out, in. Not bad. That one is good. Nice one.
Ideas for games, they realized the most they were able to create were some mini games, including a rhythm VR game. They simply didn't have the tech skills or time to go any further. This was not going to work. With time ticking and only 1 month until the final showcase, under extreme pressure, Yagoo came upon a discovery. This was the time when Kizuna Ai was blowing up on the internet, and combine that with the success of Hatsune Miku, Yagoo thought VTubers could be the future. They came upon a final unique creation, a service that would allow you to—
Bro found out that there's one thing that makes money. It's cute anime women. That was the entire— that is the solution for all your money problems. You want to make a gacha game? Add cute anime women. You want to create a show? Add cute anime women. You want to make a regular game? Add cute anime women. It works. I'll tell you, it works. Want to create a game about horses? Make the horses anime women.
Use VR to control an avatar live. The day of the final showcase came, and things were not looking so bright at first. They showcased a VR live streaming tool, an anime avatar that could move based on motion tracking of a real person. Most investors saw this as a niche gimmick that would never become mainstream or widespread, but
obviously if you like clip through thing, Kizuna Ai, the one thing that's everywhere. True.
by some miracle, near the end, they found a few people fascinated with the tech and saw a future. As a result, Yagoo and Fukuda secured funding, mainly from Mizuho Capital and TLM, 30 million yen. This was the beginning of what Cover is known for: VTuber live streaming. Behind the scenes, the cogs were turning elsewhere. While the anime avatar, Tokino Soda, was in development, they needed to find a person to actually, well, play the anime girl and stream. At the time, there was an employee at Cover, a familiar person we today know as E-chan. E-chan had a very close friend that seemed to fit the bill and formally helped her and Yagoo meet. After agreements, it was settled. The show was about to begin. On September 7th, 2017, Tokino Soda debuted on Nico Nico and YouTube. And it wasn't exactly a pretty start.
That was the 13 viewer stream. Yikes. Yikes!
Like most YouTubers, you don't start out big. Sora's first livestream infamously only had 13 live viewers, the 13 people HoloLive fans now call the 13 Nights. But that's besides the point. Sora's debut was
I've never heard of that term, the 13 Nights, I'll be real. Interesting.
underwhelming to say the least, and since there were still very few staff behind the scenes, A-chan was the only person in charge of supporting Sora, from video editing to all the technical support in this new technology. However, the first glimmer of hope came very quickly. 3 months later, in December, Cover Corp decided to try out this streaming platform called 17 Live. This was a platform mainly used in Asia for in-real-life idol performances and such, with features such as digital gifting, very similar to what we now know as super chatting. Yagoo wanted to see if a virtual idol could stand out and catch attention on this app. And what do you know? They reached a genuinely insane
Was this woman just right now play Patapon? She was. Hold up! Wait a minute! Patapon is apparently in HoloLive history. Crazy work.
20,000 concurrent viewers for a tiny nobody at the time. Yagoo states that this was the moment. He was sure he could make this work. He knew VTubers truly had a future. Yagoo had shown the world a whole new niche, and it was time for expansion. Throughout the next year, Cover focused on further developing the HoloLive app. Originally, it was developed to mainly use AR features, overlaying the 3D character onto
Do not use sort out online clips. They clip my balls off. Don't.
the user's environment via the phone's camera, and letting users watch their girl perform right there in front of them. But over time, they realized that simply focusing on the facial motion tracking would be better. In April 2018, AR features were removed, and the motion tracking was all done in the HoloLive app. What this meant was, you would no longer need complex studio setups to do motion tracking. All you need is an iPhone and voila! 2D girls streaming from home. They had the technology, so why limit it to just Sora? With the tech in place, Cover announced open auditions for new VTuber talent, and the talents grew generation by generation. First gen,
And now women were collected. The women.
second gen, HoloLive gamers to focus on video games over idol stuff, and so on. The miracle here too was YouTube announcing the super chat function at the perfect timing in 2017, letting VTubers and Cover fully utilize this for profits and expanding their business. By 2019, HoloLive was
Now the VTuber Sims were perfect to be farmed. I'm sorry, homies, but it's true. We're paying these women because we like them, but they don't really like us back.
rapidly expanding with many gens, and Yagoo finally decided to gather all their gens and name them under the umbrella brand HoloLive Productions, a name we are most familiar with today. And so, Yagoo's dream was born.
我々はどちらかというと AKB さんのような
ここで一旦ちょっと自分の足の匂いは嗅いでみましょう。
Screaming, what the fuck is going on? Oh boy, what's going on? Not again.
Many of Yagoo's life dreams were achieved. This was
For a moment, I thought I just switched to a parrot video. Horrible.
not one of them. But as if growth wasn't already good, 2020 was where the Golden Goose app, the Golden Girls, shined. Again, by pure coincidence, COVID struck, meaning everyone had to stay at home, lonely, and spending way more time on
What if... I have a conspiracy theory. What if Yagoo made COVID escape China so he could all get us to watch VTubers? What if that was his master plan? With the dedication I've seen, what if that was his master plan all along? Conspiracy theories.
the internet. This meant many more people discovering VTubers. It definitely helped that these anime girls weren't acting like your generic kawaii girl or waifu, but just genuine streamers doing batshit insane stuff. Very clip-worthy stuff. Through clips, particularly those translated to English, HoloLive spread like crazy to not only the Japanese audience, but to an international audience. It had become a whole new niche on the
My guilty pleasure is watching the JP girls play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. That is my guilty pleasure. Like, I just love watching the clips of them playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Internet, a cultural phenomenon. Cover got funds after funds. The VTuber culture quite literally encouraged fans to throw money at their favorite girl, leaving Cover.
The amount of marriage proposals that these ladies probably get on a daily basis must be horrendous.
Drowning in money, and
that is not an invitation for you guys to send me marriage proposals. I'm taken.
Many of the VTubers were becoming really big, almost to the point of being mainstream. I mean, several reached 1 million subs. And when the first generation of Hololive English released, their debut was insane. All of them blowing up with 6-digit concurrent viewers and 6-digit subs immediately. Particularly Gargura, rushing to be one of the fastest growing creators ever, period. Amassing 1 million subs.
The Shork. The Shork. Best girl.
In 43 days. How far Cover had come, and Yagoo must be thrilled. To this very day, Cover Corp remains to be very successful, dominating the VTuber field. The company Cover Corp has successfully become a worldwide entertainment network, having collabs with huge companies, an anime girl's face on Times Square, American Hololive Baseball Night. Who the hell could have imagined a lolly VTuber on the big screen of a baseball game? Members of Hololive have had countless TV appearances on national TV, a big performance at Budokan, and fame.
I have a question. When is the first VTuber politician gonna drop? I have an idea.
On the level of mainstream J-pop celebrities. The company even managed to go public in 2023 on the Tokyo Stock Exchange growth market. That group of 2 men with a dream has now become a gigamoth of a company with nearly 700 employees. On the tech side of things, the facial motion tracking has improved exponentially over the years, and the 3D models used in special occasions such as big concerts are crazy high quality. This is probably partially due to Cover using 2.7 billion yen to build a massive 3D motion capture studio, spanning an area of over 10 tennis courts. It looks insane. Amongst all this growth, there is one man that...
Damn, bro. Damn. I did not know all that. Politician never soon. We will get one. Don't you wait, we'll get one. I'll become the first one.
led the company through fire and hell, the CEO Yagoo. Now, Cover and Hololive aren't without its controversies, but out of all the big VTuber agencies, it is one of the only ones that still has a pretty good reputation. Its competitor...
I knew he was gonna mention it! I knew he was gonna mention it! The both hellholds! Both hellholds. Nichi Sanji and V Shoujo. Oh, I feel like V Shoujo is not done yet. I think there is still secrets to be uncovered and shit to be talked about. This is not done yet. Politics views and preaches already exist. No, I made a straight up state leader. I made a straight up state leader.
Let's just say they've had their fair share of dumpster fires. The reason? Yagoo. There's a reason fans call him Best Girl. He personally consoled the talents when they needed him. He treats them like humans. He gets memed by them, and somehow was the poster boy model for promoting their merch. Mind you, he's the CEO. You try treating your CEO like that, we'll see how that ends. He just seems like such a chill guy, and both the fans and the Hololive talents alike love him. This is truly what I believe to be the core of why Hololive and Cover Corp prevailed. Yagoo cared, and he still cares. The past fiscal year, Cover Corp just announced a revenue of 43 billion yen. Forbes Japan recognized Yagoo's success by ranking him 3rd on its Japan Entrepreneur Ranking 20.
3rd? That's crazy! Wow! Okay, this man is very, very successful. Wow. And all that with anime women.
2023. Today, Yagoo stands at the top of the mountain. A mountain literally created by him. Yagoo's dream is dead? No. Yagoo's dream is this. Special thanks to Vicente Pagani and all my other patrons and members for supporting the channel.
Yagoo's dream is technically forever, right? Yagoo's dream will technically live on forever with every, like, not just like Kopo VTuber, right? But also every indie VTuber, right? That won't go away. That is a medium that will stay for quite some time, maybe even forever. It probably will stay forever. Interesting. I did not know all that. I did not know all that about him. Thank you for the recommendation. That is great. That was great. Yeah. What else can you say? Yagoo is the man, for real. He is the man. No denial. I've made the idol culture embedded with VTuber culture. Pretty much, yeah. That will never go away. That man created a legacy with this, for sure. For sure. Definitely. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.